After days of speculations, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un finally arrived in Vladivostok, Russia, just a few hours ago for the much-anticipated summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This marks the first North Korea-Russia summit in 8 years, and it also marks the first time for the two leaders to sit face-to-face for talks. As the summit comes amid a deepening nuclear deadlock between Pyeongyang and Washington, today we take a closer look at the ways this Kim-Putin summit could change the future landscape of nuclear negotiations. For that, Dr. Kim Hyun-wook, professor at the Korean National Diplomatic Academy, now joins us in the studio. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
Let's start off with the timing of the visit. The possibility of North Korea-Russia summit has been up in the air since last year. Why is the Kim-Putin summit taking place now?
The critical juncture was Hanoi summit meeting. Before Hanoi, I think Kim Jong-un was very much positive about the future outcome of the Hanoi summit with President Trump. We all know that Kim Jong-un expected very much from the Hanoi summit meeting, lifting many portions of the United Nations sanctions. But after the breakdown of the Hanoi summit, I think Kim Jong-un is pretty much in a deadlock. I think U.S. posture on North Korea has changed pretty much harsher than before. And Kim Jong-un's North Korea is still sticking to the same, pathway that it has maintained dealing with the United States. So I think, now is the right timing for Kim Jong-un to think about some other pathways, diplomatic ways to deal with the United States. Maybe I think, China might be one good card, but I think, Kim Jong-un's perspective, China is in the trade war with the United States, pretty much under the Trump's pressure. So I think Kim Jong-un thinks that Russia might be the right target now to deal with in order to overcome the current stalemate with the United States.
So this is part of Kim Jong-un's careful calculations after the fall of the Hanoi summit. North Korea's state media has reported on Kim Jong-un's visit to Russia and his first meeting with Putin. Now, I understand that North Korea usually reports on summits after all the talks are concluded. Is there a special reason this time for these pre-summit reports?
I think something is happening inside North Korea. Of course, in general, when we look at Kim Jong-un's North Korea, he's trying to make North Korea more like a normal state, trying to be a normal, leader. North Korea has been pretty much labeled as, rogue state, state-sponsored terrorism, all that kind of bad labelings. But I think Kim Jong-un is trying to, overcome that kind of, bad reputation in the international community. And this kind of, announcement before he leaves for Russia, I think this is the same signal that he's trying to change North Korea as a normal state. But I think more than that, this time after the Hanoi breakdown, I think he's trying to overcome his failure inside North Korea. There are some critiques and rumors about Kim Jong-un he made some less success in Hanoi. What would be his policies? He's very much sensitive about the solidarity of his power inside North Korea. So I think this kinds of summit meeting with Putin is a very good propaganda inside North Korea to upgrade his reputation inside North Korea.
Now, while Russia looks busy making final preparations for the summit, much attention is being drawn to the Far Eastern Federal University in Vladivostok. Now, it's this particular university is expected to host the much-anticipated summit, as well as accommodate Kim Jong-un. So could you tell us a bit about this particular venue and the significance it holds?
Vladimir Putin's policy, one of his new policy is New East policy, which means that he wants to focus on this kinds of reason. I think this Far East area is important for Russia to, make a new pathway into the Pacific Ocean. Russia has been pretty much immersed in the area of the European region before, but I think for economic reasons and also to deal with the rivalry between U.S. and China, I think Russia needs some kinds of new geopolitical pathway. So I think in that reason, Putin's new policy is new East policy, focusing on the Northeast Asian region and Korean Peninsula. And this Far Eastern Federal University has been established after he initiated this New East policy. So this university has a very important symbol for his policies. I think, the reason that he focuses on this region, the Far East area, maybe, he wants to achieve some kinds of economic achievement throughout the cooperation with the Korean Peninsula, South Korea and North Korea. So I think the focus from the Russian perspective this time of Putin's summit with Kim Jong-un might be pretty much on the economic issues.
Now, the Kremlin announced that the Kim-Putin summit agenda will be the political and diplomatic solution to the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. And it's widely believed that Kim Jong-un will try to win Putin over to his side for his way of denuclearization. But the big question is, how much is Russia willing to provide for its old ally? Your thoughts?
Yes, it's very tough call. I mean, from the President Trump's perspective, it would not be a good, summit. I mean, President Trump will not be happy about this summit. The important issue is two things. First, President Trump is now pretty much in conflict with Russia. It has initiated a very tough security policy on Russia. The U.S. plans to, break the INF treaty with Russia, trying to build a more, robust and solid, nuclear deterrent vis-a-vis Russia, because it believes that Russia has been building a very strong nuclear capability vis-a-vis the United States. So I think, maybe President Trump, Putin this time wants to achieve its, buffer state, which is North Korea, vis-a-vis the United States. Because Korean Peninsula has been a rather remote region from the Russian perspective. But I think throughout this summit meeting, Russian President Putin, I think, would try to embrace North Korea and make North Korea as an important buffer state vis-a-vis the United States. And also, second issue, I think, would be denuclearizing issues. I mean, denuclearizing issue would be an important agenda for Russia to be involved in the Korean Peninsula. I'm not sure what kind of specific agreement would come out between two summit leaders. Maybe trying to change these kinds of bilateral summit between the U.S. and North Korea into a multilateral security forum or summit or some kinds of forum. I think that will be a good attempt for Russia to take a grip on the North Korea issues.
It's interesting that you pointed out, so I think we have to take note that Russia and the U.S. aren't necessarily on good terms right now. Now, getting to specific details on the North Korea-Russia economic cooperation now, with the toughest ever sanctions still imposed on North Korea, it's obvious that Kim Jong-un would try to breathe a new life into the North's economy by asking Russia a couple of economic favors. And the examples that are emerging include extension of some 40,000 North Korean laborers' stay in Russia and debt relief. Do you agree?
That I think would be something that Kim Jong-un might request to Putin. I'm not sure what Putin's response would be. Maybe extension of laborers working in Russia. I think that kind of issue might be something that maybe Putin can request at the United Nations Security Council. But I don't think it will be easy for Russia to get the consent from other countries, other P5 countries, because the U.S. definitely would not willing to accept that kind of proposal by Russia. And debt relief issues. Debt relief issues might be something that can be negotiable between two leaders, because this kind of debt relief issue has been something that has been dealt before, discussed before there have been not very active, but some military cooperation between two countries, Russia and North Korea. I think ever since Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un's father, visited Russia and had a summit meeting, I think in the year 2002. I'm not sure how actively that kinds of military cooperation is now going now, but that military cooperation has been an issue that made a debt relief possible. So what other incentive might be given by North Korea to Russia for debt relief? We'll see how it goes.
Now, following the Kim-Putin summit, President Putin is also expected to hold talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday. That is just one day after holding talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Now, it appears North Korea, Russia, and China, the three traditional allies, are getting cozier recently. How is Washington reacting to all of this?
Recent U.S. policy towards Asia, so-called Indo-Pacific strategy, is getting more detailed and refined. I mean, first when it came out with some kinds of ideas put by Japanese government, it was just same policies in Asia, kind of putting India as a new member. Nothing really, not much detail has been contained in the policy and strategy, but I think it's getting more and more strategic and more detailed. But the worry that we have is that it will definitely bring the allies into the U.S. side, which means that China and Russia and North Korea will kind of make another coalition vis-a-vis the U.S. and its allies in Asia. So this is kind of some kinds of concerns we have. If that kind of policies and a new partnership is getting sorted, I think the South Korean government's position and posture would be something that we have to be worrying about too. And also, I think Xi Jinping and Putin is meeting on this Friday, I think, in Beijing for the forum on the One Belt, One Road. Definitely, U.S. is also very critical about this because thinks that China is bringing all the countries together to the side of the China. But in fact, what is going on with the initiative One Belt, One Road is not very constructive, just making more and more debt on the partner countries. So this is some kinds of critiques by the United States.
Now, some say the Kim-Putin summit may help in resuming inter-Korean as well as North Korea-U.S. dialogue. And some are also raising the possibility of the resumption of the six-party talks. What do you say to that?
If the current bilateral talk between U.S. and North Korea is changing into the six-party talk or multilateral security forum, that will be something that Russia will be welcoming. That's Russia has been requesting, even before, because throughout the security dialogue, Russia can be part of the Korean Peninsula issues. But we know that President Trump wants to deal with other countries on every issue bilaterally. That's his negotiation style. And throughout the bilateral talk, he wants to take a whole grip of what North Korea is about in denuclearization issues. So I don't think the U.S. will be welcoming this kind of mood. President Trump, with its strength, trying to move its diplomatic policies for the interest of the United States. So I don't think this kinds of multilateral talk and six-party talk, the prospect doesn't seem very positive.
Now, the Secretary of the Russian Security Council, Nikolai Patrushev, has made a visit to Seoul, and he's due to meet with President Moon Jae-in as well as Korea's National Security Advisor, Chung Eui-yong, tomorrow. What will they likely discuss? Will they talk much about the Kim-Putin summit?
I think so. I think, South Korean, security high-level official already visited Russia before last month, before the Kim-Putin summit. Maybe the talk between Russia and South Korea has been already begun, and now another high-level official is visiting South Korea. The first thing that would focus is the economic cooperation. Russia has been pretty much emphasizing the North Korea, South Korea, Russia trilateral economic cooperation and coal transfer and gas pipeline construction, all that kind of things, which is important for Russia. With oil prices internationally going down, Russian economy is really bad now. So I think the economic issue might be the priority for Russia. And second, in order for that kinds of economic issues and cooperation to continue in the future and begin also altogether, I think a security issue is important. Russia has to have some influence in security issues and denuclearization issues in the Korean Peninsula. And once that is set, that will be a basis for Russia to be actively participate in the economic cooperation with South Korea. So all the kind of issues I think will be discussed between Russia and South Korea.
All right, Dr. Kim, thank you as always for your knowledge today.
Thank you very much.
And that wraps up this edition of News in Depth. Thank you for being with us. We'll be back with more timely and interesting topics to discuss with an expert, same time tomorrow.